Well, here we are, the first day of our camp out. Most of our guests have arrived, a few still yet to come. And we've already discovered something really cool right here outside of our camp. So we're just going to walk right back here. And Patrick was here on Monday. This is Wednesday. He was here scouting out the campsites. And he was right back here. And he just pointed this out to me. This was not here on Monday. And I don't know if you can see up there. You can see the break. It's really fresh. So yeah, this looks like it's been brought down and hung up there as possibly a blind to see from. But what's really cool, I mean, this is cool. This is neat that this is here. Probably out of one of those trees there. But what's really neat is if you look over here, right there, there's an X laid out on this branch right here. See the two sticks just laid right there? Isn't that neat? A little welcome X right behind our campsite. So one thing I hadn't noticed when I first looked at this is there is a triangle, and Tom pointed this out to me, and he tells me that the triangle represents family. So the triangle incorporated into the X would be a welcome family. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so Sandy and one other lady was here last night, Yvonne, and we do believe we did have some activity. While we were setting up camp, I heard what I thought was a whoop from back that direction. My tent's down there. And while Sandy and Yvonne were setting up camp here, they heard a whoop. And after I went to bed last night, I did hear something move past my tent. And I did hear what I thought was some muffled voices. And there's nobody else here but us. The one thing that I want to tell you about here is our friend Yvonne came from Scotland, and she brought some little tea cakes. Here we go. Okay, so I'm not really sure what happened here, but I had made a video telling about what had happened with these tea cakes that Yvonne had brought from Scotland, and for some reason my recording ended just there, and well, we did have a few other technical issues throughout the camp out, but we'll get around to that. So now I guess I'm just going to tell you what happened. So Yvonne had brought these tea cakes, which, by the way, are very delicate. They have like a cookie base with some very soft marshmallow filling and a very thin chocolate shell on the outside. They're very delicate. She had 3 of these that she had left on a stump in camp on the first night with 3 little like wind-up toys. Well, she got up in the middle of the night and she walked out, and one of them was missing. And she went back to bed, and a short time later she was woken up again and decided to go back out and have another little potty break. And she went out and saw that all 3 of them were gone. So when she got up in the morning, she was very surprised to discover that 2 of them had been put back on the stump, completely intact, as you can see in the picture here. There's no dents, and like I said, they're very delicate. There's nothing's torn on the wrappers or anything like that. Well, later on that day, we did find the 3rd missing one, and it had been unwrapped very gently, and it was eaten away in what looked like probably one big bite, and a finger had been stuck into the marshmallow goo in the middle. And yeah, I had all that on camera. I had recorded all that, and I'm not quite sure what happened to that video, but anyway, I can always tell you about it after the fact. So, pretty cool, huh? Okay, so last night we had quite an experience here. This is Courtney, and she's got her camp right across from us right over here. And it's a lot quieter on her side of the road. And she was hearing some things, footsteps, and at one point there was a break in the music that we were playing, and at that point we heard this really loud whistle come from the woods right over here. And didn't you say that was like right beside you when it happened?
Yeah, probably no more than 10 feet.
Wow.
It made me jump. I stood to attention very quickly.
Yeah, so she was over here a little while after that talking about the things she was hearing on this side of the road. So I said, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and walk back over there with you. And we came up through this little side road here and walked over. And when she went inside, I was just kind of standing here beside the trailer, and I could also hear the movement over here in the bushes. And at one point, Gabby had gone around the backside and scooted right back around with her tail tucked, looking pretty nervous. And also something, while I was standing there, something was thrown and hit the side of my boot, just right down there. So we knew that something was going on. So as we were walking away, Courtney opened the passenger side door of her car here and just reached in and grabbed something. So then we walked back across the road. So we get over here and we're looking at the ground, and there's this glyph that's like a perfect star. And unfortunately, I didn't get it on camera then, and it's all changed now. It's not the same. Okay, so we were looking at these sticks right here, and they had been formed into a perfect little star, which they have since been messed up. It's not a star anymore. So after we made note of this, we looked back across and realized that her dome light was on. You know, that pickup wasn't there at the time, and we could see her dome light hadn't turned off on her car. And we walked back over there, and she opened the driver's door and checked the knob, and the setting was right. And wasn't it right about that time your flashlight died?
Yep, right then. When I was fiddling with it, it just went off, and I had just changed the batteries prior to coming over to camp.
Yeah, so we're standing there, you close the door in the car, the flashlight's dead, we're looking at the car waiting for the dome light to go off, and then the flashlight came back on. Yeah, and the dome light went off.
The dome light went off in 3 seconds.
And it was right about then we start walking back and we heard the giggle.
Yeah, yes. They got a kick out of that.
Yeah, so then it was really cool because, okay, the lights are off, the flashlight's working, we hear the giggle, we come back across the road, and we come back through here, and where we had just been stopped a few minutes earlier looking at the star that was right here made out of these sticks, we look over, and we've got this, which has also been altered since last night, but it was a perfect, like, 8-point star that was built right here beside it. So, yeah, we just thought that was just so cool. And then, you know, throughout the night there were a few other sounds that were heard. People heard knocking, heard footsteps, whistling. Yeah, so it was, overall, it was a very eventful and fun first night for our camp out.
Oh yeah, we were sitting over there around the camp when a few people had started to hit the sack, and me and you were sitting there, and we heard the big thump.
Oh, yeah.
Something big was thrown right next to us.
Yeah, that's right. We both heard that. Yeah, something like it had been pitched across the road and just kind of hit the ground right over there by the motorhome. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then this morning I got up, and my tent is down over the side that way, and I had created a little trail to walk up to this camp, and I took a few steps, and I was like, well, that looks like a footprint. And I took a few more steps, and it's like, well, that looks like a footprint too. And then I'm thinking, well, you know, I've been walking through here, so maybe it's just my own boot prints overlapping. And then I got up here onto the hill, and I was talking to Yvonne, and she said that she had also found a few footprints up here around camp this morning. And then
Sam had one right behind hers.
Yeah, I went back down there, and yeah, right behind Sam's tent, there was 2 more that are all relatively about the same size. So I can hardly wait to see what's going to happen tonight.
No kidding.
Okay, so now we are down here by the lower campsite. The main camping area is just right up in there. So there's my tent, and here is Sam's tent. And this morning we found some footprints behind Sam's tent. They're now getting a little hard to see, but you can still make out the toes on this one. And break, and it appears the heel is back here. So then, look back here, the other footprint. So we've got what looks like the big toe, smaller toes, and a flattened area. So we have 2 footsteps, 1, 2, right here behind Sam's tent. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so I was just over there showing you the prints by Sam's tent. And this morning when I was walking up through here to go back up to our main camp up there, I had noticed that there were some tracks here. And at the time I just kind of wrote them off as being our own. But here's one of them that I made note of this morning that you can still see pretty clearly. Let's see. So there's not really any toe definition, but you can see where that's freshly broken away and pushed down. And then it comes back to here quite clearly. And this is probably an inch deep. So I don't know. The heel is very rounded right here. Let's see if I can get... It's just not going to really show up on camera very well. But you can see there's the heel, and it comes right up and right along here. So, yeah, very good footprint. We're going to have to get the tape measure out and measure that and the ones behind Sam and see if they match up. So, yeah, there was a couple of them that I saw this morning that I kind of just disregarded right off. And I'm sorry I did that. It was before coffee. So anyway, we're getting ready to go on our next little excursion. And hopefully that will bring us some more exciting stuff to share with you. Wish us luck.